A bank executive investigating your bank account. My beloved child, pause for a moment and listen carefully. This message did not find you by chance. Somewhere behind closed doors, in a quiet office filled with screens and files, a bank executive has stopped everything they were doing because of your account. Not out of suspicion, but out of surprise. Numbers that were supposed to stay dormant have begun to move in ways that demand attention. Patterns are forming. Signals are lighting up. And right now, someone with authority is asking a question that changes everything. Who is this person, and why is this account behaving like this? Don't skip this moment. Something huge is waiting for you, and every second matters. Here is where the story becomes intense. The executive leans closer to the screen, not expecting what they are seeing. This is not random activity. This is not coincidence. There is a reason your name has appeared where it shouldn't have. Files are being opened. Past records are being reviewed. A silent realization is spreading through the room: your financial path is shifting. Whether you feel ready or not, attention has been drawn to you. Stay till the end, because what unfolds next explains why pressure, delays, and confusion surrounded your money recently. Those weren't blocks, they were signs of something aligning beneath the surface. Now listen even more closely. When a bank executive investigates, it's never small. It means something crossed a threshold. It means a door is creaking open that was once sealed. This is the moment where ordinary accounts separate from extraordinary ones. Your situation is no longer invisible. Decisions are being prepared. Outcomes are being weighed. And what looks like investigation is actually preparation for a shift that cannot be undone once it begins. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is only the beginning of what is about to be revealed. Listen closely now, because the atmosphere has shifted. What began as a quiet review has turned into a focused investigation, and the tone in that office is no longer casual. The bank executive is no longer skimming numbers, they are tracing intent. They are asking why your account reflects timing that aligns too perfectly, movements that suggest readiness, and pauses that look like restraint rather than lack. This is where most people would panic. But this message is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to awaken you. Don't skip this part. What's unfolding right now explains why you felt an inner nudge to pay attention today. The executive scrolls deeper, farther back than usual. Years. Months. Moments you thought were insignificant. And suddenly, a pattern emerges that cannot be ignored. This is not reckless activity. This is controlled. Strategic. Almost as if your account has been waiting for a signal. When systems flag an account like this, it's because it's nearing a threshold, one that requires human eyes, not just automated checks. Stay till the end, because this is the point where ordinary expectations break. This is where delays start making sense, and silence begins to look like protection rather than neglect. Here is the part few people ever hear. When attention like this arrives, it means preparation is already underway. Not for loss, not for punishment, but for adjustment. Limits reconsidered. Status reviewed. Doors evaluated. The executive knows that whatever is coming next must be handled carefully, because accounts like yours don't stay quiet forever. They change suddenly. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, and this moment exists to steady you before the shift. You are not being watched to be stopped, you are being watched because something is about to move, and once it does, nothing returns to how it was before. Now the silence grows heavier, and that is never a bad sign. The bank executive pauses, fingers resting above the keyboard, because what they are seeing no longer fits the usual explanations. This is the stage where intuition joins data. They sense that your account is approaching a moment of transition, the kind that doesn't announce itself loudly but reshapes everything quietly. This is why you were drawn here right now. Don't skip this part. The stillness you felt around your finances was not emptiness, it was anticipation. What happens next is subtle but powerful. Internal notes are added, not as warnings, but as markers. The executive is documenting readiness, potential, and timing. This is rare. It means the system is acknowledging that your financial story is entering a new chapter. You may not have seen it yet in your daily life, but behind the scenes, the structure around your account is shifting. Stay till the end, because understanding this keeps you calm while others react too late. And here is the truth most people never realize. When attention reaches this level, it means the ground beneath you is being prepared. Adjustments are aligning so that when movement happens, it happens smoothly, not chaotically. This is why nothing felt rushed. This is why things didn't collapse. They were being held in place. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, and this phase exists so that when the moment arrives, you step into it steady, aware, and ready for what follows. At this stage, the room feels different. The bank executive is no longer alone with curiosity, now there is certainty. A second screen opens, and the review becomes deliberate. This is where things usually slow down, but for your account, they don't. They sharpen. The executive recognizes a timing window, the kind that appears only when an account is positioned for movement rather than monitoring. Don't skip this moment. What you're hearing explains why patience has been demanded from you more than action. Behind the scenes, internal thresholds are being reconsidered. Not crossed yet, but acknowledged. This is important. It means your account is being treated as one that needs careful handling, not restriction. The executive understands that sudden shifts can destabilize what's being prepared, so everything is being measured twice. Stay till the end, because this is the phase where invisible decisions matter more than visible results. What looks quiet on the outside is intense coordination on the inside. And here is the part that changes how you see everything. When attention reaches this level, it's because an outcome is expected, not feared. Systems don't lean in unless something is approaching activation. This is why uncertainty followed you lately, it was the space before alignment. Don't skip now. Something huge is waiting for you, and this pause exists to ensure that when movement finally happens, it arrives clean, precise, and unmistakably meant for you. Now the focus tightens, and this is where clarity begins to replace mystery. The bank executive reviews the present moment, not just the past, because timing is everything now. What they are watching for is confirmation, the final sign that preparation is complete. This is not about suspicion or doubt. It is about readiness. Don't skip this part. The sense that something was about to happen in your life did not come from nowhere. Subtle adjustments are being discussed internally. Nothing dramatic on the surface, yet everything significant underneath. The executive understands that accounts like yours don't change gradually, they change decisively. That is why there has been a delay between intention and outcome. Space was needed for alignment. Stay till the end, because this explains why pushing harder would not have helped. Waiting was part of the design. And here is what you must hold on to now. When an account reaches this stage, movement is no longer a question of if, but when. The structure around you is being reinforced so that what comes next doesn't overwhelm you. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, and this moment exists to anchor you before the shift reveals itself fully. Something changes the instant the bank executive exhales and leans back. This is the moment when curiosity turns into acknowledgement. They are no longer asking what if, they are preparing for what's next. Your account has reached a level where projections start replacing questions. Scenarios are being considered, not because of risk, but because of scale. This is why the tension around money in your life felt heavier lately, even when nothing obvious was happening. Don't skip this part. You are hearing about the stage most people never realize exists until it has already passed them by. Behind the glassy calm of that office, internal systems are quietly sinking. Safeguards align. Timelines adjust. The executive understands that when movement comes to accounts like yours, it rarely comes alone, it triggers follow-ups, secondary actions, and attention from levels higher than expected. This is why everything had to be precise. No rush. No noise. Just alignment. Stay till the end, because this explains why you were repeatedly stopped from forcing outcomes that felt overdue. You were being held in position, not delayed. Now listen carefully, because this is the core truth. When preparation reaches this depth, it means the impact ahead is meant to be sustained, not fleeting. The executive is not trying to prevent change, they are ensuring that when it arrives, it holds. This is why doubt crept into your thoughts, it was the mind reacting to pressure before expansion. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, and this phase exists to make sure that when the shift finally becomes visible, it doesn't shock you, it fits you. Now a quiet confirmation settles in, the kind that doesn't need words. The bank executive marks a final note and pauses, because there is nothing left to question, only timing to respect. This is the phase where outcomes begin to breathe on their own. What once felt uncertain is now structured. What once felt distant is now approaching. Don't skip this part. The calm you feel mixed with unease is the signal that things are lining up beyond your control. Attention shifts from analysis to readiness. The executive knows that when movement starts, it must be clean and intentional. No sudden shock. No confusion. That is why everything has felt slow on the surface. Systems are being synchronized so that the transition feels natural when it arrives. Stay till the end, because this explains why clarity has started replacing anxiety in your thoughts, even if you couldn't explain why. And here is the quiet truth you need to hear. When this stage arrives, the waiting is almost over. Not because something is being rushed, but because nothing else needs adjustment. The path ahead is clear. Don't skip now. Something huge is waiting for you, and the next shift will not ask for permission, it will simply unfold, exactly when it is meant to. Now the energy changes again, and this time it is unmistakable. The bank executive is no longer preparing, now they are watching. This is the stage where everything that has been aligned begins to test itself against real-time movement. The account is no longer still. It is responsive, sensitive, ready. This is why your intuition has been louder lately, why small decisions have felt unusually important. Don't skip this part. You are standing at the edge of activation, and awareness matters more now than effort. Inside the system, quiet indicators begin to glow. Not alerts, confirmations. The executive understands that when an account reaches this state, it is about to enter a different category altogether. One that requires attention without interference. That is rare. It means what is coming must not be interrupted. Stay till the end, because this explains why distractions were removed from your life, why certain people drifted away, and why your focus was sharpened without you trying. Here is the deeper truth. When observation replaces preparation, the final barrier has already dissolved. The executive is no longer controlling the process, they are allowing it. This is where trust replaces tension. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, and this moment exists so that when the shift becomes visible, you recognize it instantly and step into it without hesitation or fear. Now everything becomes quieter than before, and that silence is intentional. The bank executive has stopped interacting with the system because there is nothing left to adjust. This is the waiting room before execution, the space where outcomes gather strength. If you felt time stretch strangely, as if days moved slower or faster without reason, this is why. Don't skip this part. You are closer than you think, and awareness keeps you aligned with what's unfolding. The account now sits in a state of readiness that few ever reach. No flags. No resistance. Just allowance. The executive understands that the next movement will not be incremental, it will be decisive. That is why nothing dramatic is happening yet. The system waits for the precise moment, not the convenient one. Stay till the end, because this explains why impatience was gently discouraged in you again and again. Timing is protecting what's coming. And here is the final realization of this phase. When stillness reaches this depth, momentum is already locked in. Nothing external can derail it now. The executive knows it, even if they can't explain it fully. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, and the next signal will not come as a warning, it will arrive as a shift you feel before you see. Now the moment stretches, not because of delay, but because of precision. The bank executive remains alert, eyes steady, fully aware that the next movement cannot be rushed. This is the phase where alignment is tested by patience. If you have felt a quiet pressure building inside you, an urge to prepare without knowing what for, this is why. Don't skip this part. What you're sensing is the final calibration before motion. Behind the screen, internal clocks are syncing. Not literal time, but readiness. The executive knows that accounts like yours move when conditions converge, not when emotions demand it. This is why your recent attempts to predict outcomes felt pointless. The process is already ahead of expectation. Stay till the end, because this explains why your focus has shifted from worrying to watching. Awareness is your role now. Here is the deeper layer few ever reach. When anticipation replaces uncertainty, it means the structure is complete. There is nothing left to build. Only release remains. The executive understands that once this threshold is crossed, reversal is impossible. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, and this moment exists so that when the shift begins, you meet it grounded, ready, and unmistakably aligned with what is unfolding. Now a subtle confirmation passes through the system, the kind that doesn't announce itself but settles firmly into place. The bank executive notices it immediately, not as a number, not as a warning, but as a shift in status that can only be recognized by experience. This is the point where oversight turns into expectancy. If you felt a calm replace your restlessness without explanation, this is why. Don't skip this part. What's happening now explains the sudden clarity you felt about decisions that once confused you. The executive reviews one final layer, not to question it, but to respect it. Everything aligns without resistance. That alone is rare. It means the account is no longer being examined for stability, but acknowledged for capacity. This is where momentum quietly gathers its final strength. Stay till the end, because this stage reveals why obstacles that once appeared immovable suddenly dissolved on their own. They were never meant to follow you into what comes next. And here is what you must understand fully. When confirmation reaches this level, the outcome is already real, it simply hasn't surfaced yet. The executive knows the next movement will feel sudden to the outside world, but inevitable from within the system. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, and this phase exists so that when the shift finally steps into visibility, you recognize it not as luck, not as surprise, but as the natural result of everything aligning exactly as it should. Now the weight of the moment becomes undeniable. The bank executive straightens, fully aware that this is no longer a routine watch. This is a threshold. A quiet but irreversible line has been crossed, and everything beyond it moves under a different set of expectations. Your account is no longer being observed for possibility, it is being respected for impact. If you felt an unusual sense of seriousness around your next steps, this is why. Don't skip this part. What is forming now demands awareness, not reaction. Internally, priorities shift. The executive understands that when an account reaches this stage, even small changes can echo loudly. That is why restraint has surrounded you. Why opportunities appeared, then paused. Why doors didn't slam shut, but also didn't fly open too soon. This was not confusion. This was control. Stay till the end, because this explains why you were protected from rushing into decisions that would have diluted what is being prepared. Timing has been guarding you more than you realize. Here is the truth that settles everything. When preparation stretches this far, the result is meant to last. Not spike. Not fade. Hold. The executive knows that what follows will require steadiness, clarity, and presence from you. That is why you were shaped quietly, without spectacle. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, and this final stretch exists so that when the shift finally surfaces, you don't question it. You step into it calmly, fully aware that it arrived because everything, including you, was ready. Now the air feels charged, even though nothing has visibly changed. The bank executive senses it first, the point where anticipation turns into inevitability. This is no longer a phase of observation, it is a phase of alignment locking into place. What was once flexible is now fixed. What was once being weighed is now being accepted. If you've noticed a strange calm mixed with alertness inside you, this is why. Don't skip this part. This is the moment where outcomes stop floating and start anchoring. A deeper layer of review confirms what was already known. There is no resistance in the system, no conflicting signal, no hesitation left to resolve. Everything points forward. The executive understands that when this level of clarity appears, movement follows soon, not loudly, not dramatically, but decisively. This is why you were pulled away from distractions, why your attention narrowed, why trivial concerns began to lose their grip on you. Stay till the end, because this explains why your instincts have been unusually accurate lately. You are already in sync with what is coming. Here is the grounding truth you need right now. When certainty replaces curiosity, the process has matured. Nothing is being debated anymore. Nothing is being delayed. What remains is execution at the right moment. The executive knows that when this unfolds, it will feel sudden to others but natural to you. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, and this stage exists so that when the shift finally manifests, you recognize it immediately, not as chaos, not as shock, but as the quiet fulfillment of everything that has been building all along. Now the moment begins to press forward on its own, and even the bank executive can feel it. This is no longer about watching or waiting, it is about readiness meeting release. The system reflects a steadiness that cannot be forced or reversed. If you felt a deep sense of seriousness settle into your thoughts, as if something meaningful is approaching without needing announcement, this is why. Don't skip this part. You are standing at the edge of a transition that has been building quietly for far longer than you realize. Internally, everything holds firm. No alerts. No resistance. No uncertainty. The executive understands that this kind of stability only appears right before decisive movement. It is the calm before action, not because of tension, but because alignment has been achieved. This is why you were kept steady when others around you felt chaotic. Why your path felt narrow but clear. Stay till the end, because this explains why your confidence has grown silently, without proof, without validation. You are being prepared to recognize what is yours without hesitation. And here is the final layer of understanding for this stage. When preparation reaches this depth, the next step cannot be small. It must match the structure that has been built. The executive knows that once the shift begins, it will carry weight, consequence, and permanence. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, and this moment exists so that when it finally moves into view, you don't doubt it, you don't chase it, you don't question it, you simply step forward, knowing that everything before this was shaping you for exactly what comes next. Now the pressure eases in a way that feels unfamiliar, almost unsettling, because nothing is being pushed anymore. The bank executive notices this immediately. When effort disappears, it means the system has accepted what is coming. There is no more correction required. No more fine-tuning. If you felt a strange emotional neutrality lately, neither excited nor anxious, this is why. Don't skip this part. Detachment at this stage is not loss of interest, it is readiness without fear. The executive studies the timeline again, not to change it, but to honor it. Everything points to continuity, not disruption. This is important. It means what is approaching will integrate into your life instead of overturning it. That is why chaos was kept away from you. Why sudden impulses were softened. Why your choices became simpler, even when the situation itself felt complex. Stay till the end, because this explains why clarity replaced urgency. The system moves best when you are steady. Here is what settles the moment completely. When resistance disappears at every level, the outcome has already been approved by reality itself. The executive knows that intervention is no longer necessary. The process is now self-sustaining. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, and this stage exists so that when the shift becomes visible, it does not feel like an invasion of your life, but like a natural extension of the path you were already walking, guided quietly, patiently, and with purpose. Now a quiet resolve settles in, deeper than excitement and stronger than doubt. The bank executive recognizes this phase immediately, the moment when systems stop asking for confirmation and begin to allow execution. Nothing is announced. Nothing is rushed. Yet everything is ready. If you felt an inner stillness, as though you're standing firmly while something moves toward you, this is why. Don't skip this part. What's unfolding no longer needs your effort, it needs your awareness. The executive observes how smoothly everything holds. No friction. No interference. This is the mark of alignment done right. It explains why recent obstacles didn't escalate, why potential complications faded before becoming problems. The structure around your account has matured to the point where it can carry what's coming without strain. Stay till the end, because this is where understanding replaces anticipation. The waiting you felt was not emptiness, it was reinforcement. And here is the truth that defines this stage. When readiness becomes quiet and unwavering, movement is imminent. Not dramatic. Not chaotic. Certain. The executive knows that once the process steps forward, it will feel inevitable, as if it had always been meant to happen this way. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, and this moment exists so that when the shift arrives, you meet it grounded, steady, and fully prepared to receive what has been carefully set in motion. Now the current changes direction, subtle but unstoppable. The bank executive senses it instantly, the transition from holding to release has begun. This is not the loud moment people imagine, it is quieter, heavier, and far more certain. Systems respond without instruction, as if they've been waiting for this exact alignment. If you felt a deep internal yes settle inside you, even without details, this is why. Don't skip this part. What's happening now explains why hesitation dissolved and resolve took its place. Layers that once required attention now maintain themselves. That alone is confirmation. The executive understands that when momentum sustains without correction, the outcome has already chosen its path. This is why your recent thoughts shifted from how to when, and then softened into trust. The process no longer needs direction, it needs space. Stay till the end, because this reveals why control slipped gently from your hands. It wasn't taken from you, it was no longer required. Here is the grounding reality of this phase. When movement begins this way, it carries continuity. No shock. No disruption. Just arrival. The executive knows the next signal will register across systems at once, leaving no room for doubt. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, and this stage exists so that when it becomes visible, you recognize it as inevitable, not because it surprised you, but because everything leading here made it certain. Now the moment draws closer, not with noise, but with weight. The bank executive feels it before they see it, a shift in priority that doesn't need confirmation. This is the phase where outcomes begin arranging themselves, quietly but firmly. If you've noticed your thoughts becoming more focused, less scattered, this is why. Don't skip this part. The narrowing of your attention is not limitation, it is alignment. Behind the scenes, systems acknowledge what is already decided. Nothing resists. Nothing interrupts. The executive understands that when flow replaces friction at this level, the result is locked in. This is why external uncertainty no longer shakes you the way it once did. The foundation beneath you has stabilized. Stay till the end, because this explains why you stopped chasing reassurance. You no longer need it. And here is the defining truth of this stage. When everything moves forward without force, the outcome is no longer fragile. It is secure. The executive knows that the next visible step will confirm everything that has been forming silently. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, and this moment exists so that when it finally appears, you receive it calmly, fully aware that nothing about it was accidental. Now the threshold is close enough to feel in your body, not just your thoughts. The bank executive notices the subtle acceleration, not in numbers, but in readiness. This is the moment when the system stops holding space and begins to make room. If you felt an unexplainable sense of order settle around you, as if loose ends are tying themselves, this is why. Don't skip this part. What's happening now is the quiet confirmation that preparation has done its job. A final alignment check passes without resistance. That alone says everything. The executive understands that when nothing pushes back, the path forward is clear. This is why recent concerns lost their urgency, why problems resolve themselves without confrontation. The structure around your account is stable enough to support what's coming without strain. Stay till the end, because this reveals why your confidence feels grounded rather than inflated. You're not hoping anymore, you're ready. Here is the moment that defines it all. When readiness feels calm instead of electric, the arrival is imminent. Not chaotic. Not overwhelming. Precise. The executive knows the next signal will be unmistakable, registering cleanly across the system. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, and this stage exists so that when the shift finally becomes visible, you meet it with certainty, knowing it didn't rush in, didn't surprise you, and didn't come early. It arrived exactly on time. Now the final stretch begins to reveal itself, not as an explosion, but as a steady forward pull. The bank executive senses the shift instantly. The system is no longer preparing space, it is allocating it. This is the moment where readiness converts into motion without resistance. If you felt a quiet confidence settle into your decisions, even without visible proof, this is why. Don't skip this part. What you are experiencing internally is aligning perfectly with what is being set in motion externally, and that alignment is rare. Behind the scenes, confirmations begin to stack, each one reinforcing the next. Nothing dramatic flashes. Nothing alarms. And that is exactly how it should be. The executive understands that the most powerful movements arrive without noise. This is why you weren't warned loudly. This is why nothing forced your attention until now. Stay till the end, because this explains why things that once felt out of reach are suddenly within the realm of normal expectation. Your perception has adjusted to match what is coming. Here is the truth that carries weight now. When momentum feels steady instead of urgent, it means the outcome is already integrated into the system. It is no longer a possibility, it is a process unfolding. The executive knows that what follows will not require approval, persuasion, or struggle. It will move because it is allowed to move. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, and this stage exists so that when the shift finally becomes visible in your life, you don't react with shock or disbelief. You recognize it instantly, accept it calmly, and step forward knowing that everything before this moment was quietly shaping you for exactly what happens next. Now the moment feels unmistakably close, close enough that even restraint carries momentum. The bank executive observes without intervening, because intervention would only disturb what is already aligned. This is the stage where outcomes begin to announce themselves through subtle confirmation rather than action. If you felt an unusual sense of certainty, as if a decision has already been made somewhere beyond you, this is why. Don't skip this part. What's unfolding now explains the quiet assurance replacing doubt in your thoughts. Everything holds steady under review. No adjustments requested. No delays introduced. That alone confirms readiness. The executive understands that when a process reaches this level of stability, movement is not delayed by hesitation, it is released by trust. This is why recent moments in your life felt strangely resolved, even before answers appeared. Stay till the end, because this reveals why your patience no longer feels forced. It feels natural. Here is the final understanding of this phase. When certainty settles without excitement, the arrival is imminent and clean. The executive knows the next step will register clearly, without confusion or chaos. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, and this moment exists so that when it steps into visibility, you don't question its legitimacy, you recognize it immediately as the natural continuation of everything that has been aligning quietly, purposefully, and right on time. Now the line is crossed so softly that only those paying attention can feel it. The bank executive senses it immediately, the point where observation gives way to acknowledgement. Nothing needs approval anymore. Nothing needs explanation. The system has already accepted what is unfolding. If you felt a deep inner calm mixed with alertness, as if something has already decided in your favor, this is why. Don't skip this part. What's happening now is the confirmation before visibility. Behind the scenes, final sequences begin to align on their own. No commands issued. No resistance encountered. The executive understands that when processes begin completing themselves, the outcome is already active, even if it hasn't appeared yet. This is why your thoughts have become quieter. Why anxiety has lost its grip. Why you stopped searching for signs and simply started knowing. Stay till the end, because this explains why clarity replaced effort. You are no longer trying to reach something, it is moving toward you. Here is the closing truth of this entire journey. When readiness, timing, and alignment converge this cleanly, the result arrives without disruption. It fits. It settles. It holds. The executive knows that the next visible step will feel natural, almost obvious, once it appears. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, and this final moment exists so that when it finally shows itself in your life, you recognize it instantly. Not as surprise, not as luck, but as the quiet fulfillment of everything that was being prepared long before you ever saw it coming. Now the movement becomes undeniable, even though it remains calm. The bank executive no longer watches the system for signs, they watch it for confirmation. This is the point where what was forming in silence begins to take shape in reality. If you felt a quiet certainty settle into your chest, a sense that something has already shifted even before proof appears, this is why. Don't skip this part. The feeling of, "it's already done," does not come from imagination, it comes from alignment reaching completion. Internally, processes finalize themselves with precision. Nothing is forced. Nothing is questioned. The executive understands that when transitions happen this smoothly, they are meant to integrate, not disrupt. This is why your recent days felt strangely balanced, even while expectation hovered in the background. You were being stabilized for reception. Stay till the end, because this explains why your reactions have softened. You are no longer bracing, you are ready. And here is the moment that ties everything together. When execution follows preparation this seamlessly, the outcome arrives with clarity, not confusion. The executive knows the next visible change will feel obvious once it appears, as if it had been quietly approaching all along. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, and this stage exists so that when it finally enters your life, you don't question it or chase it. You recognize it instantly as the natural result of everything that has been aligning, patiently and purposefully, step by step. Now the final moment settles into place, not with noise, but with certainty. The bank executive closes the file slowly, not because interest has ended, but because the process has completed its invisible work. There is nothing left to monitor. Nothing left to question. What was once under review is now under motion. If you felt a deep, unshakable calm, different from hope, different from excitement, this is why. This is the calm that comes after alignment, not before it. Don't skip this part. This is where everything finally makes sense. What happens next does not need drama to be real. The executive understands that outcomes prepared this carefully don't arrive as chaos, they arrive as order. This is why your life began clearing space without force. Why unnecessary worries fell away. Why your focus sharpened without effort. The system is no longer adjusting around you, you are moving with it. Stay till the end, because this explains why nothing feels rushed now. The moment is no longer approaching. It is unfolding. And here is the final truth, the one that completes the entire journey. When attention turns into acceptance, and preparation turns into motion, the result becomes inevitable. What is coming to you does not need chasing, convincing, or struggle. It arrives because it belongs. Something huge is waiting for you, not as a surprise, not as a gamble, but as a continuation of everything that has been quietly aligning in your favor. You didn't miss it. You didn't delay it. You reached the exact moment where it was meant to appear, steady, clear, and unmistakably yours.